welcome back to the Serving Up podcast. We go beyond the score lines and into the stories that shape the racket sport world, the moments, the mindset, and the people that are pushing the sport forward. I'm Shaun Sullivan, and today's guest is someone who's literally done it all, Sarah Jane Perry, better known as SJ. In this episode, we talk about what it feels like to get that OBE letter landing through the letterbox, the unseen work behind the scenes as the PSA women's president, and the reality of representing players across every level of the tour, even when you disagree with a majority. We also go deeper into squash as a sport, how it's evolved, the identity, visibility, and belonging, and why SJ's approach has always been so simple. Be authentic, do the work, and make the sport better than you found it. We finished some quick fire questions and career reflections and what she hopes her legacy will be both on the court and off it. Before we get into it, as always, this podcast is brought to you by Oliver UK, the racket pioneer since 1938, and ACC Leisure, helping secure the future of leisure in the UK. Okay, let's get into it with SJ. Hi, afternoon, SJ.
Hi, okay? Shaun. Yeah, just finding somewhere better to move my thing to, because it's a bit bright behind me. I was gonna just go downstairs, but I don't know what point my cleaners come. They could come at any moment. There we go. That's probably a bit better rather than just it being out the window.
Yeah, just a little bit. Are you all calmed down now after the BJO and Manic of the New Year and everything?
Yeah, still just recovering a little bit, but no, overall, yeah, not. I mean, can't get more manic than that, to be honest. It was there 10, 11 hours a day every day is quite a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, and well, just the amount of kids as well, isn't it?
Lights annoying me. Yeah, I know the kids everywhere, and like they don't have the too dark without that. Maybe too dark without, is it? Yeah, too dark now. Lights in the wrong place. Yeah, I don't know. How are you? Was it fruitful for you guys or not really?
Sorry, say that again. You just broke up a little bit.
Was it fruitful for you guys as Oliver? Oh.
Yeah, it was good to be there and to meet the people and see everybody. So it's always nice going there. I mean, you know, it's for me, it's five days of squash. I'm like a pig in shit.
Yes, yeah.
So
I know I do. That bit I like. So if I'm gonna sit there and watch, it'd be fine. But yeah, you can't. Yeah, and then I end up having to talk to everyone.
yeah. I say I'm running my own tournament in a couple of weeks, and I know it's going to be totally different because I'm just going to be sat at a desk all day, being like, "You're caught this, caught that," and it's just totally different experience.
Right, Fleur, one of my cats is here. Are you going to lie down and be quiet, or do I need to shut you out? She's like, but I just want attention. She's very much a needy. She's a needy cat.
She's a needy cat. So a bit unusual because usually they're quite like aloof, aren't they?
Oh yeah. Not our two. You especially. She's a princess. She hardly goes. They have a cat flat. They go outside whenever they want. She barely goes out unless she desperately needs a wee, or she'll go outside if you go out the back. But otherwise, she's just Oh. Are you going to behave, or do you need to go out, Missy? She'll probably settle down. If you're not here, she'll lie on this bed all day. But anyway.
Now that she's wanting to mingle, so to speak.
Oh, yeah, she's putting her belly out, going, "Come on."
It's like you just got two dogs then, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, pretty much. The other one, this one, Fleur, she's useless at hunting. She she lets them know she's coming, whereas the other one, she is quite good at catching stuff. So, and we back of our garden backs onto a cemetery, so she goes and catches all the mice and everything she wants in there.
Does she offer them to you as beautiful presents?
Yes, which is why at night they stay in the kitchen, and then it's a bit easier to clean up off kitchen floor.
Yeah, just
And it means usually, I think there's probably a lot we don't know about that just then get taken back outside or eaten. But yeah, they can't wake us up in the night or anything either. That is my number one tip to anyone getting a cat: don't let them sleep in your bedroom. And I would do the same with a dog, to be fair. My brother's dog sleeps in the they've got a massive golden retriever and it takes up half the bed. So
yeah, they don't sleep the same way as a human. They're just like, whenever my dog goes to my in-laws are like, oh well, yeah, come up, oh, she can come up, and then all we hear is my father-in-law going, I have to go sleep on the sofa because Daisy was taking up so much of the bed. It's like, she's a dog, you can kick her out.
yeah, exactly. Come on, Fleur, come and sit here and go sleep. But yeah, she'll settle down in a second anyway.
Cool. As nobody's. Are you happy for this first bit to be in it, or do you want me to restart?
Yeah. Well, cut any bits. Interesting.
Has the OBE sort of sunk in yet?
I guess so. I mean, I got the letter probably a few weeks before you sort of get told, and then so you're told you have to if you want it, you have to accept it. So you have to let them know you want to accept it, but then you have to sort of keep it strictest confidence until the announcement, which is quite actually hard to work out exactly when that's going to be. I thought it was going to be the following evening, and I was literally putting my phone down to go to bed, and then actually got, I think it was a BBC News notification about Idris Elba receiving a knighthood, and then went, oh, that must mean that that must mean the out there. So yeah, followed by my dad, I think, trying to call me.
So had you not even told? Had you told nobody at all?
I think I had told him, but he was still waiting for that. I think waiting till he could put it on his Facebook.
I say it's a proud moment for him, obviously, as well as you.
Yeah.
How did you first react when you got it? Because there's not many squash people that have been honoured.
No, I think I was quite shocked, to be honest, because you don't know you've been nominated or anything. You're not part of actually the nomination process yourself or anything like that. So wasn't aware at all that I'd been nominated. Also didn't know that much about the actual process and the timelines of the process and things like that as well. So I didn't know if you were to get one, how long before it would be or anything like that. So it's quite a surprise to get a piece to look at the post and there be one. I can't remember the exact wordings on the front of it now, but it's effectively some words that mean effectively on the King's orders sort of thing. Which I said, well, that's not a parking fine, is it? Like.
Yeah, I was going to say that's when you get those letters, you don't recognise it's either going to be rubbish or a parking fine, isn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, I managed to stay away from the parking fines for a while, but I didn't think that there was going to be a royal one. So no, that was it was definitely quite a surprise. And then I think then the next thing, once I'd read the letter and everything, that kind of hit me actually was that obviously my squash achievements go a long way, but this is mostly for everything else around that I've sort of done voluntary with the Athletes Commission, PSA, and all of the different things that I think a lot of people probably don't know about, because it's not my first port of call to go shouting about them either. A lot of it is, well, all of it is done really just to get the best for the sport, and things like I was on the athlete advisory committee for the Commonwealth Games, and that was just to ensure that not only squash athletes but all athletes got as much of an athlete-centric games as possible. So those kind of things are really sat really importantly with me, but it's not necessarily something I kind of lead with or that's out there that much publicly. It's publicly available information, obviously, but it's not discussed that much, whereas obviously most squash fans are probably aware of my squash achievements, but probably not aware of how much time I spent doing the other things as well. So I think the fact it was not just an MBE, it was an OBE, was very special as well, because it was deemed by the nominations committee to be worthy of that, I guess. So that was quite special.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, you do a lot. It's not just the squad. That's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, because I'd always seen you being like the women's president, and everything else that you do. So and people just don't realize it's not just like a honorary position you are actually doing. Because like I think, like if you look at American sports, when they've got like the players, like everybody hears about that because they're striking and labor action. Obviously, we don't get a salary in squash, but it's still a lot of work, isn't it, being the president of that?
Absolutely. I think it's sort of multifaceted role, because you sit on the board as a non-executive director, and so you are officially legally a board member as well as, and responsible for the association, which is a member association, from those sort of legal standpoints as well. But then you're there to represent the players. So part of that is jointly chairing the athletes commission with the men's president. So when I first came in, that was Ali Farag, and then later on Surav Ghosal. So then you are trying to represent the players' views, try and like work out what's the overview of the tour, what needs to be looked at, like just put points into any, because the tour's ever evolving, and a lot of that is driven from strategy from the board. So you're involved in creating that strategy and approving it, but also then along the way, then ideas and things that want to be put into action, or problems that are occurred that need to be solutions found. You're constantly having to give input into those. And I think what a lot of people also don't realize is, like, I know part of the reason that as soon as I put myself forward for the role and went into that role was actually, I don't always like personally have the view that I put forward in those sort of meetings, which it's easy for someone to look at that and go, oh, you've got someone that's like a top 20 player, they're only got those interests. But actually, I spent a lot of time listening to any player that wanted to speak to me, but also actually trying to work out how we could hear more from those players outside the top 30, 50, 100, right down to every level of the tour. So, and obviously it's a balance, because the top end of the tour is where the sort of monetization sort of comes in, and draws the bigger sponsors and actually gets the money up. But then obviously you need a strength and depth, you need the rest of the tour, and they're equally as important as a members association, if not more, because actually more of them. But you need both to work. So trying to balance those was quite sort of difficult at times, but I always represented the overall view of the players, even if I didn't personally quite agree with it, like wasn't quite on that same thing myself. My job on the board was to go and represent the players, not just my own interests. So
what motivated you to take on that responsibility? Because that's a lot of responsibility, while still playing as well.
Yeah, it is. I think there's something that really sits with me about, like, it winds me up no end when people moan about things, and then when they get the opportunity to be involved in these sort of things, will say, oh no, I'm not going to do that, someone else can do that. So it's probably been partially my downfall as well, was just saying yes to a few too many of those things. But because I did actually take them, obviously I didn't take them on lightly. I took them on with consideration of the fact I needed to give my efforts and take pride in that. So yeah, it was, I think, just after I'd sort of established myself on the tour, I guess, I then I think saw how went to more and more events that had been running for years, and how much impact they had on the communities that hosted them, especially some of the ones in, say, like the US, where we go and stay with families that are members at the clubs and things like that, and how much as well the people putting either their time and effort or their actual money into the sponsorship of events were how much sort of passion they had for the sport and how much they actually like enjoyed the players being there. So I think I felt not obliged isn't quite the right word, but motivated to give back. And I guess in the sense of the tour, that's almost like the ultimate way to do that. So when Jenny Duncalf was retiring, I'd already joined the Athletes Commission by this point. She was retiring, and I probably didn't feel quite ready to become president. I was slightly hesitant, but there was nobody else putting their hand up. So I was, go on then.
That's usually the best ones, though, isn't it? The people who are not desperate for the job, but are usually the ones who are like, well, I'm going to do it. Was there an issue when you took over that like mattered the most to you or meant the most that you were like, I'm going to try and go in and really try and change this for the betterment of everybody?
I think not one thing when I first went in. I think the main thing overall for me has definitely been trying to have that balance viewpoint, so that because the bigger the tour has gotten money wise, and the more commercial it's therefore got, the harder it is for it to be really athlete centric. I mean, you see in tennis now, like much bigger commercial sport than squash, and the players are they're threatening to have action if they don't get more prize money and better conditions. And don't know enough about that to know exactly what. I think they may be just saying we don't need to play 30 tournaments a year, but is the main one. But I think trying to really just have that strong view from the athletes and push that importance of that has been my sort of, I guess, primary driver throughout all of almost I think it was 6 years pretty much, I think.
And you've mentioned about having to maybe if you don't agree with them, still present them because that's what the majority is saying. Was there one that was particularly hard for you to be like, I really don't agree with this, but I've got 70-80% of the players who said yes, so I've got to do it? Was there a particular one you disagreed with?
Oh, massively, yeah. Completely. The one that stuck out amongst anything else, which I still think is like, to me, is a thing, and that was when the tours merged, the men had already gone to 1 and 4 seeds in, I think, the platinum, and then now obviously the diamond events moving forwards, but the women saw that, and at that time it was finer in the balance than it is, I believe, now, but there was this a bit of lack of movement in the rankings, and the players that were trying to break through saw this as their sort of golden opportunity to have these good draws that they saw some of the men getting, where they were getting to the last 16 of a platinum without playing anyone seeded. And they were sort of, if you're 44 in the world and you're the last one in to a 48 draw platinum, then of course that's going to be appealing to you. Other than right, you have to play someone. Well, actually, it still meant they had to play someone in the top 32, but then after that, they could play someone else in the top 32. They could play someone else outside the top 32. Sorry, if they won their match to get to the last 16, rather than having to beat someone in the top 16 to get to the last 16. And I fundamentally disagreed with that.
So how did you? So the men were doing what, just 1 to 4 seeding, and what was the seeding?
So there was 48. So it's now simplified, so it's call it a 32 draw now, and there's only, so in a 32 draw there's only 8 seeds in a platinum, which is now the only remaining draw with that seeding style. Yeah, and again, it's every other level of the tour it was 1 in 2, so 16 seeds in a 32 draw.
Yeah.
Instead of that. And I think I mean, I don't know whether some of it is slightly generational, that I was always brought up, well, you don't deserve to get to the last 16 unless you've beaten someone in there to like displace them. And there was no, there was no, I've got this unlucky draw. Like, I mean, I think it was one year I played either when they were 1 and 2. I was 5 or 6 in the world, and I played Shabini or Gohar in every quarterfinal, for the whole year pretty much. But you don't moan about it, you just get on with it and you give it a good go.
That's the thing, when you're just out, like obviously you say you were 5, so you just missed that top 4 for the semis. If you're 9, you're just missing out. I remember in the British Open watching, it was Jasmine Hutton, who I think was 17 or 18 in the world at the time. She played Gohar.
Yeah.
And then the next ladies match after that, it was Sarah Nagian and Nicole Bunyan, who I think were like high 40s, low 50s.
Yeah.
So, Jasmine went out at least a round before, I think it was Sarah Nagian won it, just because of how that draw went out.
Yeah. So I think that's and then in that next round, they could be playing, those matches could play each other. So then you could have had playing surround then, rather than like on paper that should be round 1 and then on 2. So, and I get it, like there's I don't say there's no positives for it. I get the positives, and there was less, as I said, there was actually more argument for it then as well, because there was less tournaments in that gold silver range in the women's. There was a big lack of those, so then you couldn't go, right, well, I'll go there and do well and win some points here, because there wasn't enough of those. So then they were very strong. So I understood both sides, and I think that's one of my things that I brought into it, was I always tried to look at all angles. But fundamentally, I personally didn't think that it should go to that. And that was, I guess actually, I would have been a top 16 player then. So then it was automatically, well, whatever my points were, to kind of go, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? A lot of the time it was kind of, well, you're top 16, you don't actually care. Like you want that to protect you. Well, actually, no, I don't really actually back myself to beat everyone outside that top 16. I didn't mind that. That wasn't what I was thinking. I actually just didn't think somebody should come into that top 16 without beating someone in there. And that was sort of my thing. So yeah, that was my main thing that I didn't agree with, that I put for that I represented for the players, because that's what the majority of the women wanted. So
was there anything, sorry to interrupt you, was there anything that you're particularly proud of that you come up with and managed to get it through and changed?
I think the main thing I'm proud of is actually just representing those views at all times. So whether it's from that where I actually don't agree, or whether it is from the thing. And I think since in recent years, the players have moved much more back to wanting the 1 and 2 seeds. 16 seeds and a 32 draw example. And I will say I've pushed for that, and we got it changed back to the diamond events. But so we like I said before, we're now just left with the platinum events that are like that. So then that also is kind of quite confusing to me as well, to have one level of the tour where there's a different seeding system. And I think they do have in a tennis Grand Slam, they have less seeds per person than in other levels, but it's such a big draw that there's 32 seeds, isn't there? There's 32 seeds in 128 draw, which is 1 and 4, but it's 128 draw. It's not a 32 draw, and you can't have 9 playing 1 in the first round, which might put bums on seats for some tournaments, it might help them, but a lot of them either are sold out, like this, we're talking squash still, a lot of them are either sold out before a long time beforehand. Say, you know, TOC, people buy those most of those tickets are sold out months in advance, way before the entries are even closed, let alone the draw being done. And then other ones I won't name, but you don't see anyone till the quarterfinals, no matter what. So it doesn't matter matter playing in round one. So there is arguments for, there's arguments against. I personally think that outweigh the against, but yeah. So but I think there's a lot of things we're proud of as well, like outside of actually being a president, of being a trustee for the foundation and the work we've done on the foundation to also it's been like being an ambassador for Rackets Cubed, which is linked into the foundation as well, about using squash as like a vehicle for social change for kids in deprived areas, for underprivileged youth getting to access squash education, nutrition, and actually changing their lives from that. And even to just be associated with that is sort of quite makes me quite sort of proud. And I've only played a small part in that. There's people that have done hell of a lot more than me in those ones, but just to be involved at all in that is a privilege.
Yeah, so you're involved with quite a bit, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
You're trying to help wherever you can, which is one of the things I do admire about you. You've also you've already mentioned Jenny, who I imagine is quite an important person for you, as she was, her and Rachel Grinham was the first openly gay squash players, weren't they?
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, Jenny was they're both great role models for me on the squash court as well. And obviously I was aware of Rachel's prowess on the squash court, but didn't meet her until I was a bit older. But like Jenny, when I was coming up those juniors, one of the top players, and I think her skill level on the squash court, I could sort of, although we're completely different people, like personality wise, but also like stature and everything like that, we're both quite skill-based squash players. So I sort of saw a lot of myself in her in that sort of way anyway. So yeah, I thought it's great for, I think, not just squash, but a lot of people to be able to see yourself in someone that is in one of those like positions in something you do. So someone excelling in squash in this instance, but whatever it is. So, you know, I saw some of myself in her as that high skill level squash player, but then you also then see that in okay, I can be a squash player and be myself as well. So I think, you know, that her and Rachel both sort of inspirational characters on and off the court, both also given a lot back to the sport.
Yeah, well, like you said, obviously Jenny was president before you, and both Jenny got what's a world number 2. I think Rachel was the same. I think she might have been one.
Yeah, beat us in the world champs final.
Yeah, so, you know, obviously great players, and, you know, everything I hear about them off the court is lovely as well. But it's quite a big moment, wasn't it, to have somebody come out, because then Todd Harrity came out shortly afterwards as well. And for me, and obviously correct me if I'm wrong, because you're in that space, squash has always seemed sort of open and accepting to anything and anyone.
Yeah, I think there's, I feel like women's sport in particular, women's sport is very different to men's sport. So but in a squash sense, I don't feel like it's as different as a lot of other sports, like football, for example, where you see a lot of female players at the very top of the game right through, who are openly queer. But then on the men's side, you see very few examples actually, and it's that environment's still not there. Whereas I feel like squash is, I mean, it's always been very open to me, and from that sense, you know, I've never experienced any issues. I'm very lucky. I'm aware of that, but I feel like squash is quite an accepting space. But for them to actually be able to come out and say that, and like project that to the world again is really important, like I just said about visibility there. So, and it also shows that they feel safe to do that in that squash environment, which I think paints the sport in a great light as well, and quite rightly. So yeah, I think it's you know, it's been a journey for me through my squash career, and that's just been like part of it. And you know, I never felt the need to go, right, this is me and who I am, because I think it was done by Jenny and Rachel before me, and then it's just like, well, we're in where the space we're in now in the world, it's kind of just like, oh, okay, great. Like, so my way of doing that is just being my social media and things like that is my authentic life. It's not there's nothing sort of hidden or anything like that, and I'm not shaming anyone that does do that, because everyone's got a completely different situation. But for me, that was my way of being visible, which is, you know, it's a lot. I feel like with Instagram and stuff, it's a lot easier now than back, you know, when all the news just came from Squash Player magazine or
Yeah.
or anything like that. So yeah,
but no, that visibility of you as well, like you say, on Instagram. And I remember going to the Commonwealth Games in 2022, and unfortunately you were mobbed by everybody, so I couldn't come. I wanted to come and talk to you there, but it was just, you were mobbed by obviously being in your home city as well. But it was lovely seeing you and your wife walking around. I think, did you have your little boy at that?
yeah,
I think you just had him.
4 months old at that point. Yeah,
So I remember,
nearly 4.
Nearly 4 now. Yeah. So I don't think he's too dissimilar in age to my daughter. When was he born?
He's March, International Women's Day, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's got a lot to live up to then.
Yeah. So no, it was. I think that was really special to have them there. And I mean, I had a lot of friends and family there, but to have them there and have him there, and you know, he won't remember that, but we've got the technology.
But you will.
Well, we won't, but yeah, we can show him pictures and show him trying to eat the microphone on BBC when they're interviewing me. But and you know, and when he's 18 or something, he'll go, "Why did you do this?" And I'll go, "Well, I like it. I want to watch it." So no, those memories are really, truly, you know, really special.
Yeah. Before I get into, I do want to touch a little bit on your career as well, since you know you did achieve so much. But if there was somebody listening to this and maybe they're a bit fearful of being themselves, maybe they think it'll cost them, you know, whatever sport they're doing, what would you sort of say to them to help them?
I think just like try and like find your people who are going to support you, and they're going to be the ones that can sort of see your situation, advise you, and those people that you trust. Really, I think, you know, it's easy. It would be easy for me to say, oh, like just be yourself, it's great, but there's a lot of countries where it's still not okay. It's still not accepted. It's like legally as well as actually just socially. So, you know, and actually I think even some of the countries that play a lot on tour, it's not seen as acceptable in their countries, but I think they're kind of exposed to it from a young age, being like traveling globally for their sport and things. So actually it can open other cultures' eyes and things that maybe, oh, actually I know that person, they are all right. You know, they are okay actually, and you know, it might not be that themselves, but they'd just be more accepting, and if someone was to speak to them confidentially. So I think but I don't encourage anyone to do anything that's not safe, like you know, might put them in danger or anything like that. But I think try and find people. There's like I said, just finding someone that does what you do and you can relate to in that sense as well as something else is very powerful. And like having those role models, whether that is with like either sexuality or if it's like physical traits and things like that. Like, you know, I remember watching strong women on the TV when I was younger and going, oh, they're awesome. Like, you know, they can do that. And some of it I couldn't dream of doing, you know, Kelly Holmes winning 2 golds in Athens or whatever, but I could really appreciate the thing. And they don't always get, it's not like they're doing that for the money of a Premier League footballer or anything like that. And, you know, I always idolized Serena Williams because not only was she a strong woman, she just went, right, I'm going to do this my way. Like, this is my tennis. This is 100% me. Yes, I have my occasional meltdown. Yeah, but that's just, I'm putting it all out there and leaving it all out there today. And if we go past the line a little bit and go a little bit too far, then so be it. But I want to leave it all out there. So whether relating to people in different senses, I think is really important.
Yeah, no, Serena is definitely somebody who wasn't gonna slow down or not be authentic. So yeah, no, fair play to, because the amount of obviously things that were said about her in the early days, and she just kept on winning regardless of what you said. So, you know, but to get into your career now, obviously you got right up there in the world, British, Commonwealth, representing England, even right at the end of your career, you were still playing for England, because you were in the team that won the European Championship, weren't you? That was like a couple of months before you retired, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. So that was April, I think. April 25, and then retired in June. So and then all of my teammates knew that was retiring as well. So we all knew it was going to be the last one. So I mean, I finished on around 100, 100 caps, which was pretty nice as well.
Yeah, and a nice number.
Like possibly the only one of my England career as well, I think. Finished on a back wall nick bagel.
Because you finished your career aptly at the British Open, which was in Birmingham. What did it mean to you? Because obviously you played Shabini, who, you know, is going to go down as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, depending. I mean, she's only 30, which is still quite sad when you think of how much she's achieved. But was it nice for you to get that? You know, you got like a proper hard match at the end.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was. I mean, the whole event was a bit surreal, to be honest. Like, you know, it's going to be your last tournament, which is kind of quite insane. I'd managed to, I think, because I knew for a while, probably since like the Christmas, that was. I decided, right. That's the end of this season. British Open. That'll be perfect. Yeah, but I think while it's still a while away, and because nothing to me is probably as special as the British Open, then all of the others were, I could kind of bobble my way through quite all right. And then you got to that one and like everything was just like, ooh. So and then actually, you know, in the first round I'm playing Malaysian. I know that I know I've seen her around a lot, but I never played her before. So you're playing someone completely new in your last tournament. And then I had an absolute battle with Salma Hani, who I've had quite a few battles with over the years, and a very astute, very skilled player. So to battle my way through that and be able to just get that one over the line, I was just really, you know, in really happy as well, just to be able to have one more match, keep it going.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew the likelihood of taking out Noor was quite low, but I managed to bundle all my energy into the first game and keep the hope.
You went down swinging.
Yeah, keep the hope going for a bit longer. We sort of fell off the cliff a bit physically after that. I think, it's so, but to share the court with her one last time and to finish that, she's probably up there. If you'd said to me, who would you want your last match to be against? I think like you said, arguably going to go down as one of, if not the greatest female player in history. So, but also she's she's an incredible person as well. I've had rivalries with other players where I very much respect them as a squash player, but don't.
You wouldn't go for a pint.
I wouldn't say they're an incredible person. I mean, one of my issues is that I'm generally too polite to everyone. So maybe I probably still would, but behind closed doors, when I'm sat there thinking about it, I'm not going to be appreciating what a great person they are. Whereas Noor really is, and she, although in a very different way to I, advocates for the sport extremely well, on her terms too. So I think that was really fitting, and I'm been so impressed with that venue as well for the last few years. It's a great place to host, and I was a bit miffed they didn't get me on the glass my first match, to be honest. But
they make you earn it.
All of that round wasn't on the glass, but that day there was matches of the next round on the glass. I was like, you could have just squeezed me on. But I think before the tournament, that's what I was most worried about. Like, nothing against Solihull and Club, but that wasn't where I envisaged my career finishing.
Yeah, because it was nice that when the match was out, you've got that lovely picture, which I think speaks volume to both you as a person and what you achieved as president. There's a load of people on that court, just all trying to cram in and take that picture with you.
Well, unfortunately, it wasn't planned, so there's actually none of my family on there. Like, it's got most of my squash friends, and some of them that came back. Someone that had been really disappointed, like someone like Gina had been really disappointed with her own tournament, but still made the effort to come back and be there for me, which sort of meant a lot. But all of those people in that photo. But then all my family were actually there as well and didn't even make it to that photo. So we could have had a whole nother photo as well. So
you probably could have had another one as well with the amount of people you've impacted.
Well, potentially, yeah. So no, that was definitely like pretty cool as well, and a bit like surreal when you finish there. You're like, right, okay, I'm done now.
What was like the first sort of week like after you retired?
I did actually have to go and play. I think I did actually have to go and play the Dutch League finals. I think it was after that. But no, that was all right actually. So just French League finals. Apologies, French League finals, and so I was kindly not at number one either, so that was that was okay. But that was fun.
Did you win that?
No, we did. I won my matches, but my team unfortunately did not win. So but the weekend was fun.
The weekend was fun.
Yeah. And then I carried on playing. I carried on playing sort of league, squash and racquetball actually. So because I was hyper aware that I've only been going to the gym mainly because I needed to for squash performance. So, and I don't really want to go to the gym and do any cardio ever again in my life. So I need to do that on a court of some kind.
Is that the only cardio you'll do is squash? Just
yeah, I mean, I play quite a bit of paddle as well, but it doesn't reach the same levels. But actually, I think my highest heart rate in the last few years has actually been from a racquetball match post retirement, which was because the dude I was playing kept getting the ball back, and it's a lot harder to put the thing away. So
it's annoying that.
I kept having to go and get it, and then all of a sudden your heart rate's at 198 and stays there for a while.
Yeah. Just stays at 198. It's, so
Well, it doesn't normally. That's the thing. I was very much right. If I don't win this third game and that's to win 3-0, then I'm not sure I could actually play another game. It was 65 minutes for 3-love, so it was pretty.
Oh,
it's pretty pretty spicy. But I'd give me that any day over any sort of gym or running or anything like that.
But before I sort of go into sort of finishing up, because I know you're really, really busy. You've been very fortunate to work with certainly deemed to be like the best coach at the moment in Rob Owen. He is very, very complimentary of you, and he seems extremely proud of you. What's that like relationship like with him?
Oh, great with Rob. I think he had such a profound influence on that. I mean, I say the later stage of my career, but then it was like ended up being, we couldn't work out if it was 7 or 8 years at the end. But I was 8 in the world when I went to him, and then obviously got to 5, but which doesn't sound like massive.
Oh, that's big, though, isn't it?
I think it really was as well, and that was in a time I think the level was going up as well. So the actual impact he had on my squash career was immeasurable, really. But then also the support he's given me as a person has been, has been fantastic as well. And I continue to sort of learn from him as well. So I now sort of support him and his academy a couple of 2 or 3 times a week in their sessions, whether that's like on a feeding capacity and like learning around and being around there, and when he's not there, sort of run some of the sessions as well. So I still in quite a lot of contacts. I see him all the time. So he's been building even more players there to add to his academy, and it's been really successful. So there's obviously you got Paul Cole still goes in, but then you got Jonah doing incredible things coming through as well. So I think we're going to see more and more from there, and trying to learn from everything that he taught me and implement that myself, to have impact on, I guess, a coaching front and mentoring front on other players, whether they're juniors or up and coming pros or pros as well.
Yeah, I mean, I always share the 2 things I always share about Rob's coaching is he could put the ball on a sixpence wherever he was feeding you, and due to him being such a character, it's not going to be a boring session.
Oh no, there's no boring sessions. There's no boring sessions with Rob. But no, like you said, absolutely. His feeding is second to none, and he's usually sweating more than you are as well. And hasn't moved anywhere near as much, but the intensity that he puts into his feeding is second to none.
Is there any stories or sayings that made you like have to stop a session just because you were laughing so hard?
I don't know. I think there's a few things that probably stay in the academy, but there's a few jokes, few shots named after a few members of the academy that have not well. I mean, I think trying to get kids to do corkscrew serves and things to show them ball control is always fun. But then if you do them in a tournament, that's a no.
Yeah, that's definitely
ball control over everything else, and just but I think we both have quite I think imaginative but logical brains, creative in a logical way, if that kind of makes sense. So I think we both we clicked and got along straight away, and had a similar a same idea of how I should play the game, and he helped me with that a lot. So he's doing a lot of great things, and he's always got a story or a anecdote to go with it as well, whether it's how Peter Marshall used to do 2 hours of straight drive solo every day, or when he was 12, or what, or the training that Bomber Harris used to get Jonah to do, or that Rob did with him as well. Those little snippets, that was his lived experience and everything, and they're pretty special to be able to just throw in there as well.
No, certainly a fountain of knowledge and a lifetime of squash as well. Before I let you go, got some quick fire questions before I get to my very last question for you. So just the first thing to comes to your head, no need to overly stress about it. So favorite court you've ever played on?
Is that Z court, the pink one that was at the British Open?
The pink one. If it wasn't that one, if it wasn't Birmingham, where would be your favorite place?
Well, I beat Shabini for the first time on that court in Dubai as well. So
yeah, that is definitely
same court, just moved around.
Who's the toughest opponent you've ever faced?
My auto reaction is myself, but
hey, no, that's
outside of that, probably Gohar.
Why is it? Why is she different for you in comparison to like Shabini as an example?
I think when I played well, I could almost felt like I could limit how well Shabini could play, whereas Gohar was just relentless. Like the pace and the hitting and the accuracy when she was on it was just relentless.
Well, don't call the Terminator for nothing, do they?
Exactly.
The most underrated player from your era?
From my era, underrated, probably. Like, I don't know if she can be underrated, but probably Reneen. I think she probably is actually slightly underrated. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I know she was world #1 and won a world championships, but I still think she's underrated.
I get where you're coming from. People forget, obviously, she left to have a child, and she retired early.
Yeah, I think just when you're on court with her, it wasn't relentless like when you're playing Gohar or anything like that, but it was just almost like this. You almost wanted to sit back and just watch her play because it was it's like poetry in motion. One of the most natural and like aesthetic squash players, also amazing human being as well.
Yes. And then last little question: what life lesson has squash taught you?
A lot. I think just like resilience. I think we take it for granted when you're playing, and just realise that actually athletes, particularly squash players, you tend to have this resilience that is and the ones that make it all have it, and it's that ability to be really, really pissed off you've lost, but then go, right, and how are we gonna sort that for next time, rather than, oh well, that's my level. Or I remember speaking to some players and they'd lost and they went, oh well, I played all right though. And there was I'm not saying I've never said I've played well and lost. Like, I played Reneem. Best match I think I ever played was against Reneem, and I lost 3-2. But there's no video of it because it was in Saudi. But
but you know it.
But that was literally like, right, well, but I still had to go, right, well, that was incredible. And that level was great, but like, next time, what am I going to do? Next time, how can I stop her playing so well? So I think there's that resilience, and usually you have a bit of time, but then certain times, Commonwealth Games and things like that, you lose semi-final, you've got to play a bronze medal match, and you've got to get yourself back up for that. And I saw that the other week at the British Junior Open. Some of the 3-4 matches were insane, and some of them, like, you just see this flatness, but like, they were the amount of G'ing up that had to go on before those matches was quite a lot, but it was incredible to see some of the kids doing how resilient they already were at 13, 14 years old. Was mind-blowing. Like, I certainly wasn't. So that's something, I would say I'm resilient now, but I certainly wasn't at that age. I was also losing every match at the British Junior Open. So the first 3 years I literally didn't win a match. I lost every plate match and everything. So it was never my best performances at all. But like I guess I then went away and did all right the other ones. So resilience.
You must have had some resilience though to go, like say, if you've lost every single match for the first 3 years, but you end up world number 5. You must have had something in you that was like, get that bit between the teeth.
Oh, absolutely. I think I definitely did. It maybe just wasn't directed in the right direction at that point. I had a lot of you're a teenager, you're growing, you're trying to do your exams, you're trying to work out what you want to do with life and things like that. And I definitely squash was my way of expressing myself, for sure. Like, I wasn't ever good at, not necessarily not advocating for myself or anything like that, but talking about how I felt or anything like that, or expressing myself with words that much. So actually being able to, that was my like release, was expressing myself with angles and deception and this and that on a squash court. So that's how I sort of viewed it. And I think that my passion for squash built from there and my club environment at Kenilworth, not from a international performance environment. But for me, I think it needed to happen that way, and it needed to be nurtured until I was ready to actually then learn what being a professional squash player was, and then go, maybe actually try that. If you told, like I said to someone last week, if you'd have told me I had to do loads of S&C strength conditioning training when I was 13, I'd have probably stopped playing, because I just wanted to play. Like, I wanted to beat my brother. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't, to me, at international level at that point was just something that wasn't in my realm, really.
How did your brother react the first time you beat him?
Well, we were very similar, like at that, probably at a younger age at juniors. He pulled away probably at 14 from me. And I, tried to hang on to his coattails, but he got a bit too strong. And then till he actually got, he had a bit of an injury. He had this compartment syndrome, which is very painful in your shins, but not quite the same as shin splints, but similar. And then I then got the bug of doing well in tournaments as well, because I'd done better. I'd improved. I actually started doing well on the national level, and I got that bug. So, all I say is I play for the first team at the club, and he plays for the second team.
And that's all you need in the sibling rivalry. It's all you need. No. And then final question, because I know you're really busy. When people are talking about you and thinking about you sort of in the future, what would you like for them to say, about everything you've achieved, both on and off the court, as like your legacy?
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Oh, too much talking. Oh. Ooh. Oh.
That was the one thing when I spoke to Grace a couple of weeks ago, and she was like, "Oh, Sarah, it'd be great to get on. She loves talking. She loves having a chat."
Repeat that one again for me, just so I get right.
No, so just when people are talking about you and your legacy, both on and off the court, what would you hope that they say about you?
I think on the court, I think really I hope it would be about trying to how I really sort of did actually maximize my available assets. And I was never going to be the best athlete or anything like that, but I worked my ass off to try and be the best athlete that I could be, but that my skills and my how to play the game shone above sort of everything else, and that determination of that never say die attitude, hopefully, as well. Win a lot of matches from, I won't say that I shouldn't have won. I won a lot of matches from positions though I shouldn't have won. So hopefully sort of that side. And I think from the off-court side, sort of previously maybe someone who did give back and had always had the sport at the center of my thoughts, and gave back in that sense. And then hopefully moving forward, you know, my plans are, you know, I'm doing various coaching roles, including some for Rob and some with the juniors at England Squash, and also working to build my own sort of stable of players, juniors and seniors at Kenilworth, which is my home club that gave so much back to me and is very much home. So we'll I think, you know, it's hard to put a thing on that bit yet, but we'll see where that bit sort of ends up. But again, I think it'll always be my aim is always to be sort of with the athlete at the center of whether it's coaching or mentoring or anything else, and that they're the main thing. And you know, there's no ego from me to get in the way of that. It's the hope that I can deliver.
Yeah, no, I think people will certainly remember you for your resilience on court. And I mean, you saved like 3 or 4 match balls in your last match against Shabini, didn't you? I think I seem to remember Joey just being like, Sarah just doesn't want to retire, does she? It's just, she's going to keep on going. She doesn't want to retire. And then off the court, I mean, you've done so much with the presidency and the visibility of just being yourself, you know, both as being openly gay, but also you are literally just yourself. You are authentic. You say what's on your mind. It's very nice breath of fresh air. But no, thank you very much for your time. You said 45 minutes and we've been an hour. So thank you.
That's great. No.
So you look after yourself now and your family, and I'll probably see you very soon at another event.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Shaun, and to your family as well. Thanks.
And that was Sarah Jane Perry, and honestly, what a class act. Whether it was the way she competed, that never say die attitude, or the way she's given back through in leadership, player representation, and building a better environment for the next generation. Her impact on squash is going to be felt for a very, very long time. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a rating, and share it with someone else who loves sport, or someone who you just feel needs to hear what resilience and authenticity really sounds like. You can follow us on Spotify and YouTube as well. And if you like more episodes like this, there's more to come. So please keep an eye out. I will be back next week with a story you've probably never heard before. I'll leave it up to you guys to think who it might be. Till next week, I'm Shaun Sullivan. Take care.